Hi, and welcome to another episode of Home Ec.
We're your hosts, Jen and Kelly.
And we teach you all the things home that school didn't.
Today we're going to be going through what goes into an offer and the key pieces to note whether you are putting together an offer to send as a buyer or you're reviewing one as a seller. So first and foremost, we did a video previously about irrevocability and what that is, but that is a key piece of any offer and it ultimately discloses how long that offer is good for. So that's piece number one, establishing how much time you're giving the other side to work with that offer. The second piece, and generally the most important, is your purchase price. This will be identified on the first page of the offer and lets the sellers know how much you're willing to pay for the property.
And then beyond that, there is the deposit. Typically in the city of Toronto, there is a 5% deposit that is expected, although throughout the GTA, that will differ slightly. But the deposit is the amount that you're essentially putting up front, saying, we are putting down this money and securing this offer in this capacity with this deposit. Further on down the page, we have the closing date. And the closing date is essentially the date in which you plan to move in to your new abode.
This is super important and can go back and forth. We have spoken about it previously that the standard is between 30 and 90 days for that closing date. To kind of piggyback off the closing date, another piece of the agreement is going to be your title search timeline. And this ultimately lets you know how long the lawyers have to look into the title of the property to make sure that everything is good and clear and you are not taking on a property that has any liens or encumbrances.
Typically, this is 30 days before the closing date. However, if you have a really short closing date window, say for example, some of these offers come in and they're only 3 weeks, then you only have a week. But if you were to do a traditional 90-day closing date, it would typically be 30 days to 2 weeks before that closing date.
100%. Another one of the key pieces of any offer or agreement is going to be the conditions, which we've also done another video on if you want to get a little deeper into that. But these are the conditions that need to be met in order for this agreement to become a firm deal.
And so what are your typical home buying conditions and selling conditions? First and foremost, I think there is a condition on financing to make sure that you are approved or can get a mortgage to actually purchase the home. And number two is a home inspection, those are definitely back this year, that you can include as a condition. Other ones include a lawyer review or even an appraisal on the property by the bank.
They can go on, but those are the most common ones. And then beyond that is just the additional clauses of the agreement. So these are any pieces that come from either side that you're just both agreeing to. So the conditions are things that need to happen in order for the deal to become firm. The clauses are things that need to happen either along the way or at closing. So for example, you may have a clause for a couple of buyer's visits or that the home will be left in broom swept condition, things like that.
Alternatively, that the appliances are in good working order for closing, and then also that all parties agree with electronic signature, which is fairly common in today's day and age.
100%. There are so many clauses out there. There are some standard ones as well as some pretty wacky ones that agents and clients come up with. So it's a pretty mixed bag and it's important to read through all of those when looking at an agreement. One other piece to note when you're looking at an offer, especially from the buyer perspective, is that if you are competing on a property that has an offer date, looking for multiple offers, they will send offer instructions to us buying agents to let us know what they're expecting from offers. What does this typically look like, Jen?
So the offer instructions can include the time in which an offer needs to be registered at the actual brokerage, a time in which they will actually be presenting the offers to their clients. It can also include their preferences, so their preferred closing date, if they want to include anything into the sale or if they want to exclude anything into the sale, as well as a lot of these agents will put in that they would prefer a solid offer with no conditions. However, in this marketplace, it's more common to see conditions than not.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what goes into an offer. If you'd like to learn more or put in an offer of your own, please reach out, like and comment on the video, and we'll see you next time.